Right, good morning, even though it is currently the evening here. Welcome back to another video. So we're carrying on from where the last video ended, and we are getting ready. I need a key. Look at this, washed mats. Sorry, John, putting dirty feet on them. Yes, we are carrying on from where the last video ended. Myself, Craig, and Dr. Phil are heading over to Rowden, which is our science farm, to get set up there ready for when the calves come in a couple of days' time. Craig and the doctor have headed over there with a whole load of stuff really. 6130M John Deere tractor, 6470 Massey Loga tractor with a loader bucket, with a bale spike. What else has he got over there? Is that it? Loader bucket, bale spike, a shear grab, all sorts of stuff. Basically to set that up ready for winter. So calves are coming in. We're going to go over and bed up the sheds tonight, which means we've got to put his wagon on, get all that set up, throw some straw in it and chuck it out. Sounds like a very quick job, but it takes a while over there. And then tomorrow, what I'm hoping will happen is we'll get some time to go over and put the feed out, sort of, I don't know, 12 hours ahead of time for when we want to bring the calves in, because bringing the calves in and allocating them is a big job, and there's only me, Craig, and John here to do it. So there's 3 of us, whereas normally you'd have perhaps 4/5 of you there whilst one was bedding and feeding and whatever. We're trying to get ahead of the game. We go over there and bed up today, hopefully go over and feed tomorrow. So Thursday, me, John and Craig get the calves in, clip their backs, allocate them, worm them, do whatever else we need to do to them, and to make it a bit more of a easier process. Still flooded. How high is the river? Oh, the river's back down to normal level. Might stop and try and unblock the drain there on the way home then. I've made it over here. Craig's just taken the trailer off that he brought all the attachments on. The shed is behind me, the new one. All the steel work for the internals has turned up. It looks like IAE Southwest Depot. There's the dock and his chariot. Looks like he's all hooked up. So we got a Lucas Spiromix it's called. So it's got a straw chopper on the front, or a fan and a rotor. And then it's got the tub on the back, which you have on a conventional feed mixer, auger type one. So it does both jobs. You feed out of this gap here, blow straw out the chute. Craig's gonna pick his spikes up. I'll cut that bale. Now anyone that knows straw will know that is not from this year. That's a 2-year-old bale. Golden barley straw. It's in a rubbish bag. Seems to be piled quite nicely here. Of course it would now start to rain, so Craig's loading up that. You can normally get 2/3 of a big square bale in there. This stuff's quite fluffy and light, and as soon as you put the auger going in there, it starts to fly out the top. So I'll go help Phil get some gates set up. This is when it really starts to feel like winter. When these animals come in, you know the ground is there. It's very wet. It is the starting point of full winter routine. After these guys come in the shed in a couple of days' time, it will be every cow on the farm, apart from 4 bulls, which are going to come in soon as well, and what have we got, 15 fat cattle that are still outside getting fed silage outside on a bit of hard standing. So if you're in farming, you'll know what I mean when I say winter is upon us. I need one of the chaps to come in and give me a hand to hang that gate by the looks of it. I'll try and get you guys a shed update at some point, because that looks so different over there than what it has done the last few times. All the cladding's on the front now as well. He's gone in the wrong passage. Oh no, he's backing up. Now, we've not used this machine for a little while. It's always a sod to go into gear. It goes into gear with a hell of a bang. So it has been known to break the occasional shear bolt, which if you do that, it is a sod to repair, because the power shaft on it is so tight you can't hardly slide it. And then it's trying to trying to change a shear once you get in there is like trying to undo a safe blindfolded with your hands behind your back. It is, oh, no room. The job we need to do tomorrow, try and clear all this old silage, get that in the dung heap, get it all gone. He's running. That didn't go bang that time. So this is going to be happening now every single day until these calves go back out in, I don't know, March, April next year. That's been left like that purposely because that building out there is not going to be finished for a while. We're going to have to house some bulls in here. So we've got 4 pens here. We'll put our 4 bulls in, and then as soon as that shed across the road is finished, the bulls will go over to their new accommodation. Phil's got his pusher inner thing here as well now for pushing up in the afternoons. We've got some rubbish here that we need to sort out. We've got some new rubbish bags now at home, so we'll bring some over tomorrow and sort all that. These trees could do with pairing up a bit as well. Look at that for a load. Nearly an entire bale. Timber! Tell you what, he's done very well to keep all of that inside the wagon. Top work, Craig. Here's the silage pits as well, ready. So this feeds the greenhouse. This one feeds what we call the brown house, which is the middle shed. And this one feeds the blue house. There's not that much blue silage in there. Did make a big stack of blue bales though, so we have got spare silage should we need it. What else we need to do? We need to put the yard scrape on the back of the Fergie. I don't know whether there's balls on there, looks like there is. So you rejoin me the next day. We're over here getting sorted out. So we've got the Manitou here with the pallet forks, taking tiles off the front of the clamps. We've got the tractor and feeder here ready to load up. Craig's just gonna start loading that in a minute. He's just clearing out some old silage from one of the sheds. We've taken the tiles off the first pit here, and how about that for a preserved clamp of silage? Awesome. There's a tiny little bit of rubbish there that make the size of a football, and probably 2 footballs worth there in that corner. The rest of it, not a blade of waste. Look at that. We are obviously well happy with that. I'm going to start taking tyres and tiles off of the next bit here. Well, I parked the tractor in the way for that one. But I'll use the pallet forks to take these tyres off a minute, and then I'll take a few clamp tiles off here and roll this one back. So hopefully Craig can keep feeding. I'll keep getting clamps ready, and we'll go from there. This is by far the worst thing about this farm, is this gully. Saying to Craig about filling it in with some stone or something. It's only designed to take the effluent from the pits, but it's just that it makes your brain bounce in your head when you go over it in the handler. There's not actually that many tiles on this clamp, because we did this one last, but hopefully it looks as good as the first time we did. I'll take a couple more off there, then we'll pull the sheet back and see what we got here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I can't really do a lot for a minute without being in Craig's way. So I've got the middle pit to open. Obviously he's loading out of this pit across to the wagon there. So he only wants a couple of grabs and then he'll be out of the way. I'll go and take the tiles off of that pit. So just so everyone knows what's what, this pit here is our herbal lay, or our grass and clover mix, more actually than a herbal lay, to be honest. So that's the blue farm platform. In the middle is the brown farm platform, so they're the cattle that get intensively reared. So that is just permanent pasture silage, and then they get a lot of 5 kilos a head of rolled barley to push them on and get them finished quickly. And then the end clamp where the wagon is parked is the green farm platform. Again, permanent pasture, but the cattle are grazed and finished extensively, so no other input really other than silage. So yeah, and just as a brief overview, these guys obviously finish quite quickly, sort of 16 months or so. Most of the blues will finish on their second year of grazing, so we've got 5 of those that will come back inside now this winter. And then the greens are always a bit further behind, so I think there is, from memory, 13 of those to come back inside. Each group starts with 30 cows. So yeah, you can see how different systems affect the cows differently and whatever. There's obviously an environmental impact of each feeding regime, and also a financial impact of each feeding regime. Just got 400 there. Whether we put any more in? No, you stopping? Right, let's crack on. So this is the green shed, as it's called. So there'll be 30 young stock coming in here tomorrow. Once we've brought them in, weighed them, clipped their backs and tails, give them a dose of wormer, and figure out which shed they belong to, they'll come in here. So this is what Phil bedded yesterday. This is where Craig has just fed out the silage now. They're not on a proper ration yet, because we're still in the process of sorting that out, but the greens, so this one here, won't be a lot different other than silage and minerals. The other two, we need to get the barley, and then we need to sort out the blues. I think the blues normally have some form of wheat distiller with their feed. For the next few days over the weekend, just getting them started on their silage and settled onto that will be fine, and then we'll slowly introduce the other bits and pieces that they need. So the last clamp we opened had a little bit of rubbish just in the bottom corner down there, which is a bit unfortunate, but can't help that. There's a block of wood at that pit. When opening a silage pit, women love it if you go home with hands stinking of silage. They're drawn to it. I mean, my missus would be, she wouldn't be able to keep her hands off me tonight. I'm only joking, they hate it. So there we are, that is that one loaded now as well. See, we don't hardly use much per feed, which is why the clamps are so small and not very deep. You have much more of a face open, by the time you feed it, it will just go off. So that's why we have clamps that size. Right, just like to spit out, I think we're ready to go home. Craig's just backing the tractor in because there's a crack in the roof. It's got a slight leak, we need to sort that out. Right, that is everything here ready for the morning. Every shed has food in it. Good bag, that. Yeah, so every shed has food in it. All we need now is some cattle. Can't do anything more here before tomorrow. I will try and get over here and do a shed update sometime soon, because that is changing rapidly every day now. Oh, that still work. I'm just going to head back and feed the calves, pushing the silage back home, and then we'll be done diddly done for the day. Probably worth pointing out that this is Legrice's domain over here, Dr. Phil. And so far we've done all his work for him, so I'm sure he appreciates it. He's tied up doing some stuff for Bruce at the moment. Bruce is on holiday, so Phil is deputising for him. But he'll be back on Friday to feed these lot. And so another successful day ends. Everyone's happy in the calf shed. Gus is even running around happy. We got rid of the pile of creep today. That's actually gone over to the other farm where we're going to be working tomorrow. And we had 3 ton of feed delivered that was on the floor here. I don't know what way around the videos are coming out, so whether you've seen that or not. And we put it into this hopper bin that we've got here. So now feeding the calves here, instead of having to bucket everything out of here like I have been doing. Once this runs out, we've got the hopper with a slide on, so I can just put a bag underneath and fill it up with how much I want, and Bob's your uncle. Considering me and Craig have been on our own sim today, John's been off on a course, Phil's been entertaining guests, I think, on behalf of Bruce. I don't think we've done too badly. We've got everything ready over the other farm. We've done all the yard work back here. We've sorted out that bin. And various other things in between, so not a bad day's work. Anyway, we're going to end the video there, so thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to leave you with another little video from Mason's Kings. Cheerio.
Mason Kings are celebrating 40 years in business, and you can ask what's changed over the last 40 years in the land-based industries. We have seen massive changes in what we are expected to do and achieve, in the equipment that we're using to do it. So what's coming in the next 10 years? Well, we'll certainly be working with our existing customers and hoping to meet and work with many new customers. The equipment is going to get even more complex. Electrification is coming. Integrated technology will become even more important and will add significant value to a lot of our customers. The one thing that won't change is the passion for the industry and the commitment we have to provide premium support for premium product for all of our customers. And yes, we are celebrating 40 years, but of course we wouldn't be here without you, our customers, and our staff, and a massive thank you to everybody for everything that has been done, and looking forward to the future.